Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody in connection with a liquor policy case till 15th April. He will become the first CM to run a government from behind bars. The AAP convener was produced in the court of Special Judge Kaveri Baweja after his Enforcement Directorate custody came to an end. The probe agency sought 15 days of judicial custody of Kejriwal and told the court that they may require further custody at a later date. ED told the court that Kejriwal has been non-cooperative during the custody and has been evasive with replies. After listening to the arguments, the court sent the CM to jail till April 15th. But when he was being taken out of the court, Kejriwal had a small message that what the Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. His wife echoed the sentiment, saying that BJP's only objective was to keep Kejriwal away from polls.
कुछ कहना चाहेंगे देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है कुछ कहना चाहेंगे देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है कुछ कहना चाहेंगे देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है कुछ कहना चाहेंगे देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है
11 दिन उनकी पूछताछ हुई है। पूछताछ पूरी हो गई है। अदालत ने दोषी नहीं कहा। उनको जेल में क्यों डाला है? इन लोगों का एक ही मकसद है, इनको चुनाव में उनको जेल में डालना है। देश की जनता इस तानाशाही का जवाब देगी।
While in jail, Kejriwal will be kept in jail number 2, which has been vacated for him. Earlier, it was occupied by Sanjay Singh. Since he's a Z+ protectee, he could also be kept in solitary confinement for safety reasons. As per the jail manual, he can have a meeting twice a week, but not carry out any official work from within. But with Kejriwal now in Tihar, the real issue now is of how Delhi is supposed to run. Remember, already 4 members of the Aam Aadmi Party are in jail. In fact, there are 5 if we count in Vijay Nair, who was communications in charge of Aam Aadmi Party. Meanwhile, AAP leaders have once again reiterated that Operation Lotus is at play in Delhi. AAP MLAs have alleged inside the Delhi Assembly that BJP is trying to break the party by offering 25 crore rupees to them. Their charge is that this is being done to bring president's rule in Delhi. However, the BJP retaliated, saying that AAP was playing victim card to deflect attention from the charges of corruption that it faces.
कल उन्होंने एक दूसरी रैली की जिसमें उनके गुरु बदल गए। गुरु लालू प्रसाद यादव जी हो गए, क्योंकि लालू प्रसाद यादव जी ने तो कम से कम इस्तीफा दे दिया था जब वो जेल जाने लगे थे। अभी तक इन्होंने इस्तीफा नहीं दिया है। तो निश्चित रूप से यह दिखाई पड़ रहा है कि अपने गुरु की सारी शिक्षाओं को गुड़ गोबर करने का काम केजरीवाल जी ने आम आदमी पार्टी के अपने पूरे चाल चिंतन चेहरा चरित्र में दिखा दिया।
अब जब अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है बिना किसी सबूत के, बिना किसी मनी टेल के, तो तुम लोगों को तो हम कभी भी पकड़ सकते हैं। और अब जब उनको गिरफ्तार कर ही लिया है तो हम राष्ट्रपति शासन की ओर धकेलेंगे दिल्ली को और फिर पार्टी को खत्म करेंगे, तोड़ेंगे।
Let's break down the ED's remand note. Today, the Enforcement Directorate made 5 serious charges against the Delhi Chief Minister. Not only did they call him kingpin and conspirator of Liquorgate, they also said that AAP is the main beneficiary of proceeds of crime. ED also alleged that Kejriwal's not revealing the truth and that he's giving evasive replies and concealing information. They've mentioned specific examples. Let's take you through them one by one. EDs told the court that when Kejriwal was questioned about his proximity to Vijay Nair, Kejriwal said that Nair didn't report to him and that he instead reported to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj. When asked why was Vijay Nair staying in the CM's camp office, he feigned ignorance. However, when media questioned Atishi on ED claiming that Kejriwal named her and Saurabh Bharadwaj, she chose to evade the question.
जी नमस्ते मैडम, आज पहली बार आपका नाम लिया गया है। आपका नाम आया है, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? मैं पहली बार आप कोर्ट में कहा कि सीएम साहब ने कहा कि विजय नायर आपको।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's take this across to our guest. Joining us with us is Pratyush Khan, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have with us Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate. Also joining us with us is Asif Bhamla, political analyst. Piyush Joshi is a political analyst as well. Kamru Choudhury, also a political analyst who leans towards the Congress party. And Kapil Madan, lawyer. Let me start first and foremost with you. Piyush Joshi, today you see what the Enforcement Directorate has told the court. They say that Arvind Kejriwal has said that Vijay Nair was reporting to Atishi as well as Saurabh Bharadwaj. The BJP says this is some kind of attempt at deflecting attention from him. How do you see this?
Well, I don't know in what capacity has he mentioned that Vijay Nair used to report, because with Vijay Nair, to the best of my knowledge, was the communications head of the Aam Aadmi Party at one point of time. And maybe regarding the strategy of the Goa elections, he was reporting to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj. So I don't know in what regard he made this statement. I'm not privy to that kind of information. However, what the whole country is privy to is the transaction of Aurobindo Pharma. In the form of electoral bonds. So 55 crores of electoral bonds, despite the ED's, tremendously watchful eyes, did move on to the BJP headquarters. And suddenly this man becomes an approver and names Kejriwal.
Yeah,
So
Mr. Joshi, we have, to be fair,
clear.
we have debated this point of electoral bonds. It may be a fair point, but today we are talking about the specifics of what the ED is alleging. And let's kindly stick to that particular point. But I want Pratyush Kant to come in.
I started by responding to that particular point only.
Yeah.
That in what capacity, I don't know in what capacity did he report to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj. And when it comes to the charges of Enforcement Directorate, I do not expect anything better from Enforcement Directorate, which is definitely working as an extortion arm. So they will try to paint Mr. Kejriwal as kingpin. I am not surprised. But what Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party needs to do is to go to the people of Delhi and explain everything to them.
Right.
That this is how we are being persecuted. This is how we are being victimized, and this is what we have done for you over a period of.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what they're doing. But let me bring in Pratyush Kant. Pratyush Kant, you saw what Arvind Kejriwal said when he was coming out of the court. He said that जो प्रधानमंत्री कर रहे हैं देश के हित में नहीं है. Your response to the position being taken by the Aam Aadmi Party, Pratyush Kant.
Vijay Nair is a character who is a dalal, a middleman in the whole liquor scam. Now tell me one thing, how can a scamster, a middleman, sit in official meetings? How can a scamster stay in a sarkari ghar allotted to a minister? In our personal, in your news committee meeting, no outsider can come. Forget a government tender where crores of rupees of people's money is involved, an outsider is sitting. This can only happen when Kejriwal, the kingpin, is there. Now, and what they did, he has forgotten all the passwords, he has forgotten all about the mobiles, they have destroyed nth number of mobiles, nth number of SIM cards, but they forgot that they have sent messages from those mobiles to X, Y and Z people all over the country who were part of this scam. Now, the ED has got digital proof, as they have been saying it day in and day out. And to bring to the main point, why is Manish Sisodia and all these characters not being able to get bail? When an FIR is lodged, evidence collection starts the next day, and court monitoring also begins with that immediately. So you go to a lower court, a sessions court, a high court, double bench of high court, Supreme Court, everybody sees the evidence which the agencies show them. Agency could be ED, could be CBI, could be any agency of the country. We are not privy to it. When do we get into the picture? When the documents become public. Now here is the question, that why haven't they got bail? Because ED has collected such humongous amount of evidences against these people, and in today's world, digital footprint is left all over the place. And that is why Kejriwal was running away from ED summons. 9 summons he was running away. Why? Because he knew he is the kingpin.
Let me take this question across to other panelists now.
All the mobiles, all the SIM cards, but
yeah, let me put that question across. Kapil Madan, there is so much of evidence that the Enforcement Directorate has collected in this particular case that nobody, not Mr. Jain, not Mr. Sisodia, nobody is able to actually get out because of the kind of evidence, says the BJP. Please respond to that.
Madhav, look at the sequence of events. The ED is being investigating this case for almost 1.5 years now. And as far as I recall correctly, sometimes in March 2023, Mr. Manish Sisodia was arrested. Thereafter, Mr. Sanjay Singh got arrested, and thereafter, this arrest of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has happened. Now, I'll ask a question to myself. When ED has already made one arrest, when the charge sheet is already filed, And, surprisingly, in cases like this, where a person who himself was an accused, who himself was facing trial, gives 5 statements, and in the 6 statements, he named Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. What is the credibility of the statement given by the approver? Insofar as I will, tell your viewers about the law on approval in India, our law is very clear. It says that the statement of the approver cannot be the sole criteria basis, for, proceeding against any individual. You need to have credible evidences to corroborate what the approver is saying. Now, I ask a question to myself that if for 2 long years ED is still investigating the case, then where is the scam?
Okay.
If after 2 years you are not able to complete the investigation, then I ask a question, then I mean, this can't be an open-ended investigation where they will keep on investigating for 10 odd years, and at their whims and fancy tomorrow they will say any
Ishkaran, is this a roving and fishing expedition? Where is the corroborative evidence to what is being stated by the approvers is what Kapil is asking. Please respond to it.
Firstly, I'll start with a very short point. Nobody in this case has gotten a bail, and the first arrest or one of the arrests of Mr. Vijay Nair, whom I will come to later, is an extremely important person and whose connection, if established with Ms. Atishi Marlina, she may soon require a very good lawyer. So he is in jail since 7th October or maybe just before that, no bail. Then Mr. Manish Sisodia in jail, no bail. Mr. Sanjay Singh in jail, no bail. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the case has just begun. So 1 or 2 points in this. Firstly, of course, Kapil on the point of law is right. Approver sole testimony is not enough. But if you read the ED reply, they keep saying they have CDR records. They have call records. Mr. Kejriwal is refusing to give passwords of his phone because there is digital evidence which will corroborate it. ED is saying that from day one. Now, forgetting that technicality for a second, coming to the larger, broader point, because something of immense significance happened in Tukhet. What ED says now is, Mr. Kejriwal says Vijay Nair was reporting to Ms. Atishi Marlina. Why is this significant? Because ED's case has been consistently that Mr. Vijay Nair had a FaceTime call with interested parties and Mr. Kejriwal. That Mr. Vijay Nair was a linchpin in collecting the funds and circumventing these funds and the Hawala transactions. It is a case that Mr. Vijay Nair, even though not entitled to, was living in a ministerial bungalow. It is the case that he was working in CMO. Everybody knows how important social media is to AAP structure. AAP rose out of social media and media presence, and he was heading the media. So his importance cannot be exaggerated. Now when Mr. Kejriwal says he was reporting to Ms. Atishi Marlina, Madhav, I said on your channel that this letter reading business where Atishi Marlina says water logging is being directed by CM and health is being directed by CM might land Mr. Kejriwal in trouble, because how if he is doing such mundane things, he is not looking at the excise policy, which is of utmost importance to Delhi government. Now, by saying that Mr. Vijay Nair, a person on whom there are serious allegations, was reporting to Ms. Atishi Marlina and not him, he is doing the same thing that as a CM, I don't have any portfolio, I have nothing to sign. This is a legal defense being built up. It's not a bad defense, because he can always say Ms. Atishi Marlina was being the points person and not me, but it definitely will raise questions on Ms. Atishi Marlina. I will end by saying I won't be very surprised if soon she needs a very good lawyer.
Okay, but there is one question, Ishkaran. The question is this, that, there are reports that say that Vijay Nair actually made a similar statement a year and a half ago that he reports to Atishi and Saurabh, who are in charge of AAP communication team. If he has already said this a year and a half ago, why is it now coming up again during the course of Mr. Kejriwal's investigation is a question that many say perhaps comes up today.
Because the statement of statement of one accused, often the other person under investigation is confronted with it. And that is why I said, at this time, because he was working in CM and there is an allegation of his arranging FaceTime calls, and there are allegations that he was the boy and he was the one who was taking it forward. So in this case scenario, it becomes very important who was Mr. Vijay Nair reporting to. Of course, it's for ED and the defense team to establish. But this bringing Ms. Atishi Marlina in, of course, will be of significance in the legal manner in which the trial will proceed.
Okay, let me now bring in Kamru Choudhury. Kamru Choudhury, you must have heard BJP spokesperson Basri Swaraj today. She has asked a question. She says that if Mr. Satinder Jain and Manish Sisodia were made to resign, why is the same high moral ground or yardstick? Why does that not apply to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal? What would you say to a question like that, Kamru Choudhury?
No, this is absolutely right. I can't differ more to the BJP out here tonight. You know, a person who is on jail, denied bail by the courts of the land, is trying to run the government from inside the jail. It should not happen in a mature democracy like ours. It's better that Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal resigns forthwith and hands over the charge to somebody else and let them run the government, because the Delhi people, they deserve a working and a functional government right now. Now coming to the crux of the problem that is there in Delhi, what happened is...
May I just request you to pause for just a second? I want Piyush to respond to that. I'm coming back to you, Kamru Choudhury. I'm coming back to you, but I want Piyush to respond to that. Piyush, this is not a member of the BJP. Mr. Kamru Choudhury, in fact, is not officially a spokesperson, but he certainly leans towards the Congress party. But even he is saying what's happening here, and their Congress party is supporting you, by the way, as far as this case is concerned. But this question that applies to two other ministers and not to Mr. Kejriwal is something that even he can't wrap his head around.
I respect Mr. Choudhury's opinion, and I definitely respect him as a person as well. But I reserve my right to differ, because these are extraordinary times. These are times in which two democratically elected chief ministers are put behind bars, under false pretenses. So this is an extraordinary situation in which the whole democratic structure is threatened. Yesterday, the Prime Minister of the country made a statement which we all should be worried about, because he said कि जिसने भी electoral bond की आलोचना की है वो पछताएंगे. So is he threatening the judiciary? Is he threatening the top-notch judges of the Supreme Court of India by making this statement? Because it is the judgment of the Supreme Court which has declared the electoral bonds as unconstitutional. So what was Mr. Prime Minister meaning in that particular regard? So, that kind of threatening needs to stop. Either you are doing unconstitutional things, you are bringing unconstitutional schemes to fund your own party, you are using the Enforcement Directorate as an extortion arm, you are freezing the funds of the largest opposition party of the country, and then you are saying ki are bhai khelo na chunav lado.
Okay.
So this is what worries me, and that is why these are extraordinary times, and extraordinary times require extraordinary measures.
No, certainly electoral bonds is an important issue, and certainly, of course, these are the context of it. I can understand your comments, but nevertheless, coming back to the issue at hand, Kamru Choudhury.
Yeah, thank you. While I say that it is imperative upon Arvind Kejriwal to resign and let a functional government rule the people of Delhi, rule the policies and frame the next roadmap for the people of Delhi. But having said that, this is going to be the same issue that Praful Patel, what happened to the ED cases against Praful Patel, what happened to the cases against Eknath Shinde, or let's say Himanta Biswa Sharma, or let's say all other BJP ruled chief ministers or their ministers. So I believe in the next few months or few years, we will see that entire liquor case of Delhi will turn out to be a damn squid like this. So
are you saying Mr. Kejriwal is going to switch sides?
Simple reason that the people here see.
Mr. Choudhury, are you saying that you believe Kejriwal is going to switch sides?
Listen to me, one thing. No, I can't preempt anything right now, but one thing for certain is there. This is a total vendetta politics by the Bharatiya Janata Party. It has armed the investigating agency. It has weaponized the investigating agencies only for the fear of losing a few Lok Sabha seats in 2024. Nothing more, nothing less than that. You tell me one thing. I have gone through articles wherein LG Saxena had even criticized Arvind Kejriwal that why are you sending files to me for approval without your signature? Why are your ministers sending the files out here? The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal used to function without any portfolio. Now, if he is implicated in any case, who does the honest lie on to prove him guilty? It lies with the investigating agencies. But under the PMLA, once a person has been arrested, bail is very, very difficult because of the amendments being done by the Bharatiya Janata Party governments after 2019. The basic case out here that is there, it is not that 50 crores of cash were recovered from a Trinamool Congress minister's house Where is the money ultimately gone to? Where are the bank transactions?
Okay, many points you've made over there, but I want Asif Bamla to come in on that. Asif Bamla, it's very difficult to get bail because of the kind of amendments that have been made to the law, and that this is all happening with a vendetta, with a political vendetta in mind. That's a charge from Kamru Choudhury. Please respond to him.
Yeah, चुनाव है इसलिए अरेस्ट हो रहा है. This is what the opposition is going gaga on, but they don't understand कि चुनाव है इसलिए हम करप्शन को भी भूल जा रहे हैं. हम वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने सबसे पहले मांग की थी, सारे टॉप लीडर्स, राइट फ्रॉम सोनिया गांधी टू राहुल गांधी टू एवरीबॉडी, के अरविंद केजरीवाल शुड बी, इज अ किंग पिन एंड ही शुड बी अरेस्टेड इन द लिकर स्कैम. आज यही लोग हैं, क्योंकि चुनाव है इससे हम करप्शन भी बर्दाश्त करेंगे, हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, क्योंकि ये इसे कहते हैं चोर चोर मोसरे भाई. आज तो मुझे लग रहा है आम आदमी पार्टी के भी जो प्रवक्ता है वो शायद समझने लगे होंगे कि ये अरविंद केजरीवाल जो है जरूर जो है किंग पिन है और वही शराब घोटाला में यकीनन इन्वॉल्व है. बट आई एम आस्किंग वन क्वेश्चन which nobody is asking here on this panel, why should people suffer from, people of Delhi suffer from having a man who has been rated as in the Sharab Ghotala case and a man who's involved as a corruption agent. दिल्ली की जनता की क्या कमी है? आपके पास आपके 62 आमदारों में से, एमएलए लोगों में से एक ऐसा एमएलए नहीं है जो दिल्ली को रूल कर सके. अच्छा, ये मापदंड आपने जब गए तो आपने आपके डिप्यूटी सीएम को भी रिजिग्नेशन दिया. अरे आपने तो लालू जी को भी पीछे छोड़ दिया करप्शन की सीमा में, उनमें भी जिल्लत थी कि उन्होंने भी रिजाइन किया. इज देयर एनी सम सेंस आपको कोर्ट दर कोर्ट, न्यायालय दर न्यायालय आपको बेल रिजेक्ट कर दी जा रही है. इसका मतलब आपका इन्वॉल्वमेंट.
Okay, I think the pointed question here is why should the people of Delhi suffer? Yeah, why should the people of Delhi suffer? Kamru Choudhury.
Give me 5 more seconds.
Can I? Yeah, basically, can you please? Okay, fine, thank you. Basic point, Madhav, out here is that the Supreme Court of India had termed the electoral bonds as illegal, unconstitutional. Then who is responsible for the scheme of electoral bonds? Is directly the PMO is involved in designing these electoral bonds. So who is culpable and who is responsible? The Prime Minister of the country. So do we hang him? Do we put him behind bars for bringing out the Notbandi, the electoral bonds? No. Because it was a policy decision. Policy decision might go correct, might go wrong. But the magnanimity lies in accepting that the policy decision was wrong. Though I might criticize Kejriwal ji out here, but the moot point remains that when they realized that the liquor policy was not going as per their way, they withdraw the liquor policy. That is the magnanimity of the decision.
Okay.
Here we have got the Prime Minister who opposed the electoral bonds, refused to divulge details under the RTI, went to the Supreme.
Let me bring in the BJP spokesperson on this.
The people of this country do not need to know who is paying the electoral bonds.
Pratyush Kant, at the end of the day, this is a policy decision that went wrong, and if the government retracted the policy and corrected course, then how can you go ahead and take this kind of action? Because there are other policy decisions as well that can be similarly questioned, says Kamru Choudhury. Please respond to him.
Just to clear it, the whole concept to your viewers, just barely 5-6 weeks ago, Ajay Makan, he is a member of parliament and he also happens to be the treasurer of the Congress party. He did a press conference sitting in the headquarters of the Congress party and issuing a 3-page statement. He categorically said that how Kejriwal made money in the liquor scam, how money was hawala transacted from here to Goa, everything in detail. It's all public document, no special information I'm giving to this channel. Now, this man knew exactly how the whole hawala operation handled. He knew, Ajay Makan knew that how much money exchanged hands. He knew how corrupt Kejriwal was. What happens? Today he's sitting with Kejriwal. All these people are here for chori, bhrastachar, corruption. 2 weeks before Ajay Makan's statement, Rahul Gandhi goes to South India and says, Kejriwal se to chor koi hai nahi. Excise policy meets open and shut case. Yesterday they were together in Ramlila Maidan. where Anna Hazare was fighting against corruption. Look at the irony. Don't listen to what all these people in the panel are saying. It's for the viewers to decide that how open and clear this case of corruption has been. Here is a man who bought a taxation policy, liquor policy. He made money in that. He had middlemen sitting in the meeting. He had that middleman staying in a government house. He had that middleman having a number of folks with him. There were all kinds of racket that was involved. And that is the reason why today there is digital all across. That is why he's behind bar. That is why they're not getting bail from any court.
So why there is no investigation in the electoral bond scam?
All right, Ishkaran.
There is no scam in electoral bond. You want paise ki chori? What used to happen in Congress regime?
Okay. Ishkaran, I want you to come in on 2 points. One is, of course, the legality of what is being claimed over here by Kamru Choudhury, and also there is a allegation coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party that this is all nothing but a ruse to impose President's rule in Delhi. You would have heard what the party spokesperson said a short while earlier at the beginning of the debate. Ishkaran.
Yes. Madhav, let me answer both these points. Firstly, on policy, while it is true that policy is the prerogative of a government, and whether a policy is good or there could be a better policy, the court will not go into. But if you make a policy based on bribe paid to you, or you alter or change a policy based on bribe paid to you, or you make a policy in order to earn money, kickbacks or bribe, that is corruption. Those policies are routinely gone into by court. Those policies are also struck down and criminal cases are launched on that. So let us be very clear, here is a specific allegations of kickback and money. It is not merely a policy and whether there should be a better policy. So let's be very clear. The second aspect on presidential rule. Let us be also very clear on that. There cannot be any presidential rule if out of 62 MLAs, some new MLA comes in and is sworn in as a chief minister. But if a chief minister who is in jail cannot meet IAS officers, cannot meet the cabinet ministers, there cannot be any confidentiality. He cannot function as the chief minister. That is the definition of breakdown of constitutional machinery. So if Aam Aadmi Party, in spite of majority, does not want to make some other chief minister, but wants a constitutional crisis, let's not forget it's a self-proclaimed stand of being anarchists. So if you want a constitutional crisis, of course that will happen. And in a constitutional crisis, constitutional provisions will kick in, which may also include president's rule.
Okay, Piyush Joshi, respond to that. This is a created constitutional crisis by the Aam Aadmi Party.
So as far as constitution of the country is concerned, unless and until someone is prosecuted and punished for a duration of at least 2 years, they cannot be disqualified from running a government's office and from holding a responsible position. So as far as constitution is concerned, Mr. Kejriwal is well within his rights to continue, in his chair.
But is it tenable, sir? The question is of tenability. How will he rule? How will he hold cabinet meetings? How will he sign papers? He's not allowed to do official work. That's something that you and I all know. That's why all CMs, whenever they have to be arrested or something, they immediately tender in their resignation.
So when it comes to the practical aspects of it, that how practical will it be for him to run the government from Tihar? That is something that we all can debate upon, because I also feel that it is going to be not as practical as it seems. So that's an open question. So, but you know what my point is, that the way the government is misusing all the agencies, the way the government is using the electoral bonds, the way the government is using the income tax department, that is a different era altogether, and that is what we all should be worried about, because this is going to set a wrong precedence. If someone else comes in power tomorrow and starts acting in a similar manner, then bye-bye democracy.
Okay. The larger issue of concern, Ishkaran Bhandari and certain CECs have also said this, former CECs, that the level playing field is being vitiated by all of these actions of the agencies when this happens during the course of the elections. Please respond to that.
Madhav, retired people say a lot of things, either pro-BJP or anti-BJP. Everybody has their own take, and why would we give more significance to a retired person than people already in office or the courts? If there is any amount of unlevel playing fields, our courts have plenary powers to go into it, including electoral bond, let us all remember, has been struck down by the Supreme Court. So when it brought an argument that the law was not correct, not constitutional, it struck it down. But when the same courts believe that there is sufficient evidence to keep somebody in jail, suddenly democracy in danger, how can in the same debate you praise the electoral bond judgment and say that judgments of the court in keeping people in jail are wrong? Let us be fair to the system. Let us not say because the judgment is not in favor, order is not in favor, the democracy in this country is over. So
okay,
let us be very clear.
Kapil Madan, respond to that. How can there be two, within one debate itself, two separate contradictory stances to what the courts have said? How can in one the court be correct and the other totally wrong? That's a question from Ishkaran. Please respond.
Now allow me to make my point, and I would appreciate uninterrupted time here. Now you remember the 2G case, what happened initially when prima facie case was presented before the Honorable Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court noted that yes, there appears to be a case of corruption and therefore licenses were cancelled. What happened thereafter? When all those evidences, facts were tested during the course of the trial, then the case, has fallen flat. Now, unfortunately, our system, works like this. It is easy for any investigating agencies to, make, a statement, and a law like PMLA makes it extremely difficult for an accused to get bail. But ultimately, if you really want to get your public confidence back insofar as these agencies are concerned, you need to ensure that you complete trial in a time-bound manner and you convict them. The point is, you use these kind of cases to draw political mileage. And I'll give you another example. When was National Herald? All BJP spokesperson and cheerleaders, constantly talk about National Herald. It's been almost more than 10 years. Do you even see a prosecution complaint filed by ED in that case? The answer is no. After even 10 years, there is no prosecution complaint. And yet, before any significant, poll, that is announced in the country, you will see ED getting in a hyperactive mode and ED will start sending summons. No, the point I'm trying to make here is to answer Ishkaran that the courts are not giving bail. It is because the trial is yet to progress. The law works in a fashion where in PMLA, there is a presumption that the accused has committed the offense. So it is only after the trial is concluded, you will be able to come to know whether there was any offense that was committed or not.
Okay.
Or this was
almost out of time. Quick response from Ishkaran.
Madhav, this is the 100th time we have to repeat that the constitutional validity of PMLA has been upheld by the Supreme Court. So now we cannot say that this law is good or bad. It's the law of the land. The validity of electoral scheme, board scheme was not upheld by the same Supreme Court. That is, we are debating it. Once the PMLA law has been upheld, that law is a good law, that law is a constitutional law, and its provision will play out. And if you do not get bail under it, you cannot keep casting aspersions either on the ED or the courts.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Ishkaran Bhandari, Asif Bhamla, Piyush Joshi, as well as Kapil Madan. Of course, Pratyush Kant and Kamru Choudhury stay with us for debate number 2 on the Newshour Agenda.